back, YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate that. And today, let's review Stasis Bone Totem. This is a follow-up to the first Stasis point-and-click adventure game that I reviewed not too long ago. Although, it's not a direct sequel, but it takes place within the Stasis world, so to speak. And the first game really impressed me with its dark and grotesque atmosphere, and that's back in full swing in this game, Bone Totem. And it takes cues from everything from H.G. Geiger and Alien to Bioshock to Resident Evil and puzzle games like 7th Guest and 11th Hour and classic point-and-click adventure games. And it's really fun to see all those influences and then the developers coming up with this fairly unique and standout product. It's really nice. Even if the game throws all kinds of horrific and disturbing imagery at you, underneath there is a very personal tale of a husband and wife on a salvage ship that come to this oil rig finding something terribly wrong there. And what's great is that you have these two people. Well, actually, there are three characters, including an electronic bear called Moses that is basically the star of the game. Now, all these characters are very different. Like, the woman is very explorative, and the man is sort of cautious, and the bear is just lovable. And the conversations are just very believable, and they all share this dark secret of their past. And just in general, I think the production values of Bone Totem are just way better than the first game. The isometric graphics, the horror that's put into all the art just looks very detailed, as well as the characters and the animation. So this is really a step up from the first game. The ambience is good. It's not very present, which again is a good thing. It's a bit forgettable, but it does add to that sort of dreadly atmosphere that's going on. The voice acting in this game is excellent. The dialogue is great. Some really great back and forth between the characters. There's even some humor there. It does take itself very seriously, this game, but there's enough little things there sprinkled over that kind of, make you laugh out at times. But the point is that there's some real personal growth and some heartfelt moments in this game, although at times I think it did sort of overindulge itself a bit in that aspect with a lot of dialogue. There's also some really good-looking cutscenes. They're not too long, which I think is a good thing, and cutscenes here are basically a reward for progressing in the game. In a time where games seem to be more and more just cutscene with a little bit of gameplay sprinkled over, the idea of a cutscene is sort of a reward, I think, for progressing, and that this game really understands that. Now, the gameplay feels very familiar or similar to the first game, where you explore various eerie rooms, which are really fun to do, and every room has something interesting going on or something dynamic. So that's really nice. The only thing that bugged me a bit is the fact that although the rooms are fairly small, going to one to the next requires loading, so that got me a little bit out of it. By clicking on the right mouse button, objects that give information light up, so they are green, and objects that you can interact with are blue. This addresses a main complaint of mine of the first game, where there were things sort of hiding in the darkness that you just couldn't find. You had to go pixel hunting because it's such a dark game. And it was very hard to distinguish items that you could use in this game. That is all gone with this very nice system of right-clicking. Still, the game is a tad too dark in places, which is a bit of a shame because the art is so good. But it's all sort of shrouded in darkness, as the characters have this own little lamp, this headlight that they use, and things sort of light up as you walk around, which is nice to do, but it also leaves a lot of stuff just hidden. Also, some new mechanics were added in this game. For instance, you can switch between all the three characters, so the progression feels very natural since you need all the characters to overcome obstacles and solve puzzles. For instance, the man has his ability to bend or destroy items, so you get some new items, whereas the wife can combine items for new ones, and the bear can explore places that are hostile to humans. Now, what's interesting is that these items can be shared between all the characters. And that is a bit unimmersive because most of the time these characters are way apart from one another in different places. Still, for some reason, they can share items to solve the puzzles. So it's kind of weird. But what's great, though, is that depending on who's carrying an item, that person will give a specific comment on the item as you hover over it with your mouse. Now, if a description makes little sense to you from one character, you can give it to another character and you'll get a different description of that item, usually giving you clues on what to do. And what you have to do in this game is pretty clear. I mean, the game doesn't shower you with all kinds of items to use, so you come to a certain obstacle or a certain puzzle and it kind of makes sense. You know what you sort of need to be doing, so they make good sense. Although you do need to pay good attention to certain clues, like a number scribbled somewhere or on some things, stuff like that. Also, it's kind of a point and click trope where every time you come across a computer or a terminal or machine, it is broken, and so you need to fix it, or you need to operate numbers or put things in a certain order. You know, it's never like plug and play, although this takes place in some kind of advanced civilization, so it kind of gets a bit weird on that. But again, that's sort of part of the charm of a point and click adventure game. So yeah, there are some puzzles here that were kind of hard to solve, because mostly that was my fault because I missed an item or I was overthinking it. But most of the stuff is very doable. I think overall this is the developer's best work yet. Almost in every aspect of the game, it's better than what they did before. This is what I would call a AAA adventure game. It is a bit self-indulgent, as I said before, but it's good. It's really, really good. And it's good because it's not all about that horror. That is sort of the surface of it. But again, the main focus here is on the personal tale, and that's a very interesting story. A story of loss, of grief, of perseverance, of acceptance. All that stuff is in here. So really, if you are remotely into adventure games, please do check out Bone Totem, and I'm really looking forward to what the developer is going to do next. Thanks guys for watching so far, and see you in the next one.
God!